Hello and welcome back. We're just rotating the turntable there and we're going to get the Britannia out of the engine shed. I couldn't resist getting a couple of extra Pullmans out and the utility van after last week's running with the RS9 set. So we'll just roll off the turntable out through point 17 and we'll stop on number 18. Then we'll switch those and we'll roll back and we'll pick up the utility van which is waiting in the sidings next to the engine shed. Smoothly does it through the points there. I think we have that. And we'll move out through the points again, back out onto the inside line. See if we can snap those points shut as she rolls through the points there. There we go. Roll around the first radius curve, gentle stop before points number 7, sorry. Snap those open and we'll roll out onto the outside line and around those two Pullmans waiting at the station. And we'll snap number 7 shut. And then we'll open 8 and we'll roll back onto the inside line. We'll just roll beyond the points there, stop just past them and we'll throw those and then we'll roll back and collect the two Pullmans. A bit of a jump into life there, wasn't there? I think we have those though. And then we'll move forward beyond points 11 this time, just by that gasometer, just a little further along than last time. Nice stop behind the engine shed there. We'll snap open number 11. And then we'll roll back into the station there. And we'll collect the 3 Pullmans we had last week. The ones with the pinpoint axles and the unpainted lampshades. There we go, lovely shot looking through the station canopies there and back out onto the inside line and we'll snap those points shut on the last coach comes through, car 79 there we go, and off around the layout, making a really tremendous sound. We'll just have a swift look at these Pullman coaches. We had them in the RS9 set last week and I realised we didn't really have a look at them, so we'll just have a swift look over them now. So we've got Jane and Ruth, and then we've got car 79 there, and I mentioned, I think, possibly that the number had been scraped off there, sadly. And I don't know whether I mentioned that the lampshades aren't painted in these, so I think these are later at some point in their production. They stopped painting the lampshades, so the extra coaches I put on today, let's just see if I can move around here without walking into anything. So we have Anne here, and if you notice that we've got pink lampshades, and again we have Mary here. If I can just get round into the corner here, we can see definitely pink lampshades, but we've got open axle boxes here. These are a much older set of coaches. As I say, the first Pullman coach came along 58, I think, so possibly available with the open or Mark II style couplings. But I've got some from all ages. And I do notice that this one doesn't have the recesses in the roof here to put the South Wales Pullman name boards on. So some of these coaches do and some don't. And the earlier ones seem to have very yellow roofs if you look at these. Let's see here. So these two older ones have got much yellower roofs than the newer ones. But I thought we'd have a swift look at the Triumph catalogue here. This is the 62 catalogue. Again, a Terence Cuneo image on the front, stunning image. If we open up here, we've got a little example of some of his version of weathering here, and it says dirt, and it refers to his sort of rundown of how he did it in this great little book, if you can get hold of it, Triumph. The first 10 years. There's lots of very interesting stuff in this book, well worth getting hold of a copy. They're not very much. So we'll just have a swift look through the catalogue here. So a number of fine images. But what I'm really interested in is the rubber buildings a bit further along. Let's have a look. There's that EM2. We'll get that running a little bit later as well with the Mark II coaches with sort of maroon Mark IIs there. We'll get that out a little later as well and see if we can get everything running together. But what I really want to have a look at is the page with these rubber buildings by Young and Fogg. So let's move on through. It really is quite a fine catalogue, this one. Lovely illustrations. So let's just move through all those coaches there. We've got the Pullmans running right the way across the bottom of the page there. I think there's one with each name on there, but I don't know whether I can get close enough without bumping into the catenary to see that. So we'll just have a look along there. Terrific, aren't they? Lovely, lovely illustrations. Be really nice to know more about who did these and how they were done. I wonder what happened to the all of the artwork. The Super 4 track came along in this year. I think we should have a look at this locomotive at some point quite soon. We've got catenary and curved platform and so on. You can hear my hand just clipping the old catenary there, transcontinental stuff. There's a smoke unit there that could be bought as a separate item. A wonderful page of TC coaches. We've seen that quite recently, I think. There's action accessories. So they could keep you occupied for hours, these catalogues, couldn't they? Great. Princess Royal there with the blood and custard coaches. Here we go, coming on to these Young and Fog accessories. So they did these cuttings here, which I've got just here, and there's a tunnel which I do have somewhere, which is suffering a little bit. It's quite an old item. It's sort of very misshapen. I believe you can reshape these by wetting them. I know we've got this incline here where you could run to get your railway up to bridge height. So they're quite interesting items. Let's see if we can turn the page. We have the mail coaches and the track cleaning car. Let's just move the price list out of the way. So there's that countryside series of buildings. So I think these came along probably very late 50s. I think Triang bought the company who was responsible for these and absorbed them into the Rovex group of companies. And I think by the time this catalogue came along, this is probably the end of the run, really. But there's some great buildings here, but they do suffer. My windmill has card sails on it. I do have the original sails, but they sort of fold backwards. They flop. So I've just scanned them and just made a card set there. Sorry, my hand's beginning to wobble holding the camera there. And you see the gasometer. And we've got the haystacks there. So they really are a fine set of things. And the newest one I keep meaning to mention is that factory there, and we see the factory building there in the catalogue. So let's just have a look at the pricing here. Well, we've got the price list. So I don't know how close we can get when I'm holding the camera like this. So let's see if we can hold that up a little bit more. There you can see the windmill. There, what was that, 6 shillings? So a reasonably hefty price, the windmill, quite a large item. But it's a full range there. As I say, I think 62 was probably the end of the range, end of the line. Sorry, for the rubber buildings there. The oil tank and the gasometer. I have 2 gasometers. I've got one here. And let's just have a swift look over the other side of the layout here. I have a gasometer there and an oil tank. Sadly, most of the shell transfer is missing from the other side, and I have a coal, I don't know what you call that, a coal station there. Let's have a look what they're called. Let's just pick that one up, have a quick look at it. See, it's rather cracked. You see that sort of basic rubber moulding, all that cracking and shrinkage there, but really quite pretty items. So the type has survived quite nicely on that one. So let's just have a closer look at that embankment there, and if I get close enough you can see the card sails on that windmill. I can't remember whether they turn. Yeah, they do, but quite a neat idea just scanning them, I think. But yeah, excellent things, and I was very pleased to get that factory. That was number R.259, so it would look nice with a few more of those perhaps if we had more space. And this was quite an interesting group of items. And it looks like a TV aerials and a weather vane there. And there's that pub name, the Railway Inn, as well. Little plastic items which could be added to these buildings to give them more detail. So I think the railway building's changed after this into the series we're more familiar with as the 60s moved on there. But great things, these catalogues. I know a number of people have asked me to have a closer look through some of them. So some find it interesting, some find it a bit dull. It's a great set of stickers and a headboard for the golden arrow there. I do have one of those somewhere. And that Triang badge. The Triang Railways lapel badge, new super enamel finish. I don't have one of those, it'd be nice. Full of really terrific items. I think I was just mentioning the other day to somebody in the comments that the more you look at these catalogues, the more you end up wanting more items from them. And that's the clockwork or primary things there. And a little bit of information about the track geometry there that Super 4 can achieve. Just catching up with the Pullman there. We're going to bring her gently to a stop alongside the station by points number 9 there whilst we open those. So that's the crossover into the passing loop. Just keep an eye on all of those coaches from above. There's a tiniest wobble on these. I think that's to be expected. And we'll wait for car 79 to come through there and we'll snap the points shut behind them. There we go. And we'll follow the passing loop round up to the colour light signal and we'll come to a stop and wait for the green light to show. There we have it. Out through points 4 onto the outside line and passing under the elevated section there. Now we're going to have a great overhead shot of the entire layout in a moment. Snap points 4 shut there. We'll be able to see the whole layout in one. But if you keep an eye on the Electra in the station there with the Mark 1 coaches, I don't know whether you can hear the points opening. She should move away any second. We'll get her onto the inside line. You can see I'm struggling thinking about the speed of the Britannia and the Electra together. It's sort of one of those tricks of the brain. It's very difficult to independently control two together, or at least wise it is for me anyway. So let's see how I do. We'll just follow them round for a few moments. Britannia coming down the incline. We're going to storm along that outside straight there. Tremendous noise. I know I keep saying that, and it's one of those things I always say, but it's just part of this sort of model railway. The noise that comes from it. Electra looking great into the first radius there with the Mark 1 maroon coaches, which I was calling Mark 2s earlier for some reason. Side by side around the curves. Electra tearing off into the first radius, slowing down a little. Britannia making its way up to the suspension bridge, EM2 nicely weighing at the station, so I think we'll probably wait there for the Britannia to come back around and we'll see if we can get her to move off as the Britannia with all those Pullmans moves alongside. Just slowing the Britannia down a little there. And let's see if we can move there we go. We'll move it away nice and gently, lovely into the curves there. Both trains coming round together. And that's a really excellent shot there. But I think that's probably going to be about it for this week. Hope you've enjoyed the video, looking through the catalogue and seeing the Britannia with the Pullmans and the EM2 there with the Mark 1 Maroons. So it's been a bit of a fun video with these two great trains charging around the track there. But I think, as I say, that's probably it for this week. Thanks for watching. It's hugely appreciated, and if you look back again next time, we'll have something else from the range to look at. Goodbye now.